Good afternoon and welcome to the Captain's Log. Today is the 7th of November. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. Just getting ready to start my day. Got a nice long 500-mile trip today, going up from our home warehouse down here in Wisconsin up to the Iron Range in northern Minnesota, going up to Duluth and Cloquet, which is it takes about 5 hours to get to my first stop, so it's a nice long easy run tonight. And hopefully, since I'm starting at the warehouse, I'll be able to get up there and back tonight. I don't want to have to stop. I'll have plenty of legal hours to do the driving. And it's a real easy load too. It's 3 stops, and the first stop is about, like I said, about 5 hours from the warehouse. Then about 30 minutes away is the second stop, and another 30 minutes is the third and final stop. So you're looking at, I should be able to get the work done before I have to take my DOT required 30-minute break, provided I don't have any issues with traffic or weather. Looks like it's going to be a really nice day. We've had some really nice weather the past couple of days, so I can't really complain too much about the weather. I do know that this is the calm before the storm, as they say, because we got, winter is just another couple of weeks away, and then we get into the cold and the snow and the nasty weather. And thankfully, the company that I contract to doesn't want us driving in poor weather. So, when we get bad snowstorms or even a mild snowstorm, I just stay put. They don't pay a whole lot to deal with the weather delay, but it's better to deal with getting a smaller paycheck, because of poor weather, than it would be to deal with rolling the truck or putting the truck in a ditch or getting in a nasty accident. Speaking of nasty accidents, I know we talked on previous episodes about the necessity to be a defensive driver and to, be mindful of your surroundings. And the other night, I hit a deer with my truck. I was driving up US Highway 53 just outside of a town called Bloomer, Wisconsin, which is, I don't know, 30 minutes maybe north of Eau Claire. I was north. It was dark. The weather was good. It wasn't snowing or raining or anything, and it's clear skies, no fog. And I'm just cruising along down the highway, minding my own business. There's not a whole lot of traffic out. It wasn't that late. It was only about 9:30 in the evening, which is unusual. Usually there's a little more traffic, but it was really light for whatever reason that night. And as I'm cruising along, some driver on the CB says, northbound, slow it down, you got one running. And I was like, okay. And no sooner did he finish speaking than my headlights hit the deer, literally or figuratively, and then literally. I took out the right side of my front bumper, dented my hood, broke my grill, and it wasn't a pleasant night. And I keep forgetting to put my tools back in the truck, because I had some tools I took out when I was doing some homework or work at home that I needed tools for. I didn't put them back in the truck, so I didn't have any tools with me, and I had to cut away about 2.5 inches of my plastic bumper to get it off the right side steering tire. So that was completely unexpected. Now, I had spoke before about having to go out to California to take care of some personal family things, and so I scheduled PM or preventive maintenance service on my truck, oil change, fuel filter, air filter, and they lube it and do all that kind of basic things while I was going to be away. And I was going to have them put a deer guard on the truck while I was away as well. And I hit the deer 1 week to the day before I was set to leave for my trip. So it wasn't a fun night. thankfully the damage is minor, and I'm still able to drive the truck. So I took it in, got its PM service done, and I asked them to give me an estimate for the insurance provider to tell me how much it would cost to fix the hood and bumper. And the estimate they gave me was just about 10 grand, and I only paid 13 and a half for the truck. So it seems kind of ridiculous to charge 10 grand for a truck that's not even worth 10 grand. And so I came back from my trip, got a lot of very important things taken care of, and some more are kind of in the works. My parents, well, my father is getting up there, and he had a car accident with him and his wife, and there was some pretty significant injuries in that accident. So we, going out there to take care of, just kind of getting the ball rolling, because we know it's only going to be a matter of time before his wife is going to need a lot more intensive care. I don't mean like an intensive care unit, but I mean like more skilled nursing care than what he can provide, and we're just trying to get everything set in motion. So when that time does eventually come, we can just move forward without really dealing with a lot of hassle. So I flew out to California, got back Sunday afternoon. So when I got back home, it was too late to pick up Psycho, because I took her to the to her vet's office where they have boarding, and so I had to pick her up the next morning. Then I came back to work, and then I did a trip or two, and I was up in the Iron Range. I've been going up there a lot lately. I don't know why. They just kind of like sending me up there. And I was up in the Iron Range, and I was shut down from my 10-hour break, and I got up to go to work, and I went to do my pre-trip, just like I always talk about, doing a pre-trip before you drive, make sure everything's good to go. And I find a nice big puddle of fluid right in the center of my underneath my hood, right where the bumper stops. And so of course I crawled underneath, and I couldn't tell where exactly the leak was coming from, and I checked it, and it wasn't, because my engine was running, because it's cold up there at night, so my engine was running to keep the truck warm and keep me warm, and the oil fluid that was on the ground wasn't hot. So I was like, okay, it's not motor oil. And then I opened the hood, and I saw that my power steering reservoir, it's not transparent, but it's you can kind of see through it, and you can see the level, and it was down almost to the bottom of the reservoir. So I wound up buying 2 quarts of power steering fluid. I put a quart in, I got it up to where it was supposed to be, and then I drove into work, and I told the dispatch, I said, hey, I got this leak. I'm going to put some fluid in it, see if it'll hold, so I can work. And I asked to get a shorter route, because I was set to take like a 400-mile trip that night, and I wanted to stay closer to our location so I could take it to the shop in the morning to get it looked at. And they wound up taking me off that and had me just pick up an empty trailer down at our maintenance facility. So I did that the next morning, took it in. They gave me a new one. It's a metal pipe that they hooked up, that hooks up to the power steering reservoir, that goes underneath to cool it, and then of course they filled it up with fluid and bled the air out of it and all that. So that wound up costing me about just shy of $500. So not a bad situation, just a unexpected situation. Thankfully I had some money saved up that I could pay for the repair. So I went back to work that night, and now I'm getting ready to start my day today. It's 500 and something round trip, so my they don't want me to be there until 6 o'clock, so I've got about another hour before I have to leave here. I'm only 2 miles from our warehouse. I'm at a truck stop, just parked. I generally go to the truck stop just because it has a little more amenities than our warehouse has. As far as we have a Denny's, a McDonald's, some other Taco Bell stuff right in the general area for food, plus showers and restrooms and things like that we don't have it obviously at the warehouse. So I generally come over here and sit when I take my break, my 10-hour break. So hopefully tonight we'll go good. It shouldn't be a hard night as far as the weather conditions or anything. And the 3 stops are really easy deliveries. There are no real challenges. The one store, they're doing some construction, so it's a little challenging to get into the delivery area, but once you get in, it's no big deal. So hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll either make it all the way back to this to the warehouse or something close to the warehouse. I'll probably have to stop and get some fuel because obviously it's a 500-mile trip, and if that's the case, I'll probably wind up sitting wherever I get fuel, or I might just park the truck and then get fuel when I get up to go to work the next day. Normally I'm working a 5-day work week now. I did that so I would have 2 days available to work on my multi-engine training, but right now my instructor is actually taking the next 2 weeks off because up here in the Northwoods it's firearms deer season, so he's taking his kids out to do go deer hunting. So the next 2 weeks I won't be doing any flying with him, and my call it biennial flight review. Every 2 years you have to do a flight review in order to be able to fly, and my flight review just expired on October 31st, and of course I was in California that weekend, so I need to make time with another instructor and go do what's called a BFR, or a biennial flight review, to be able to legally fly by myself. It's not that big of a deal. You only require 2 hours. You require an hour of ground training and an hour of flight training. So I think when I get home this week, because I took basically 5 days off, so I'm working every day since I came back until my normal scheduled days off, which will be next Thursday. So today is Saturday, so I'll be working the next Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days, and I'll be home sometime Thursday morning. So when I do get home, I'll call them up and see if we can't schedule that training so that I can get my legal requirement met so I can fly again. I mean, I can fly with an instructor all I want. I just can't fly without that being current. Your pilot's license doesn't have an expiration date, but every 2 years you're required to meet certain criteria. And for me, as a private pilot, non-instrument rated, that's just 2 hours, 1 hour ground and 1 hour of flight. So hopefully I'll get that done. Probably not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. So what's that, about the 15th or so of the month? I'll try and get that done. So we'll see how it goes. So other than that, coming back, dealing with the family issues and dealing with the truck issues, everything is going pretty good. Unfortunately, because I took those days off, I don't get paid. So now I'm an independent contractor, so we don't get paid vacations or anything. If I don't keep the wheels on the truck turning, I don't keep the money coming into my bank account. And there's certain fixed expenses that you have regardless, with like your insurance and your truck payment and whatnot. And I only got paid for one trip. It was about $700. And after I took out the money for my taxes and my expenses, my insurance, my fuel, I only netted about $200. So that's what I got paid last pay period. So I won't be able to afford my truck payment this coming week. I mean, I have the money saved up, but normally I know that on this certain date that this money is going there, but instead I have to transfer a little bit out of my my savings into that account to pay the truck payment, because like truck payments don't stop. Even if you take a month off, you take a day off, you still gotta pay the truck payment. Thankfully, my truck payments are only $680 per month. Some guys are paying that much a week because they're buying these high-tech fancy trucks that are very expensive and they're new. I bought this older truck, so my payments are a lot less, and thankfully that's keeping me in the red as far as my expenses and income and whatnot. So on that note, I think we'll wrap up today's edition of the Captain's Log. Hopefully by next 2 weekends from now, I'll have that BFR done and I'll be able to keep flying. And my instructor and I, we have, for the multi-training, we have our next flight scheduled for the 21st of November. So we'll see. I may have to postpone that just because of this financial hit I took with the truck repair and the trip that I wasn't planning on taking to California. Thankfully, I had credit for a plane ticket that I hadn't used because of COVID. I had a vacation scheduled earlier this year in the end of May, into the first week of June. I was going to go up to Seattle to go to a Mariners baseball game, and then I was going down to San Francisco to go to a Giants game and a A's game for my vacation. But because of COVID, all that, this is right, when COVID was going strong, I canceled that trip, and then of course all the crazy stuff happened at the same time. So instead of getting my ticket refunded, they just gave me a credit. So I just used that credit to pay for my trip out to California. I mean, I still had to pay for hotel and rental car and all that, but thankfully I didn't have to pay for the plane ticket, so my financial hit wasn't as bad as it could have been. Hopefully won't have any more issues next couple of weeks, so I can get my savings back to where it should be and start getting my bills back on track. Because I didn't stop paying them. Because I used to pay as soon as I get the bill. They give you like a 3-week window, so like your electric bill comes in around the 1st, and it says you have until the 21st to pay the bill. I used to pay it as soon as I get it, but I've kind of postponed that off because I didn't have the extra spare cash. So this coming paycheck should be a really nice paycheck. I should have about 7 days on it. I mean, I haven't taken I should have at least 6 days on it because of the truck breakdown. So I should be back where I need to be. So wishing you a happy adventure. Things have been kind of crazy, as you can tell, in the country for the past week. We just had the election. I said before, it's not going to be a political vlog, but obviously that's a reigning huge topic right now going on. So with all, like, today is the 7th and the election was the 3rd, and we still don't technically know who the president is. I mean, they declared Biden the winner, but the Trump campaign is obviously challenging that. So just see where it goes. I have a suspicion where it's gonna go, but I'll keep that to myself just because I don't want to jinx it. It's not that I believe in superstitions or anything, but so hold tight, keep a positive attitude. We'll see. Hopefully everything will go well over the next couple of weeks, and this country won't descend into anarchy and chaos. That's probably more prophetic than I wanted it to be. On that note, we'll say goodnight. Thank you for watching the Captain's Log. We'll see you on the next one, probably 2 weeks time. Maybe sooner, depending on everything that goes on. But I'm trying to do these every other week. And the last one I put up was about my second multi-engine lesson. And it didn't really have an intro, it was just the video of the lesson. So hopefully the next one will be uh, like this, a little short little talk, and then some flight video. Obviously, I'm not going to put up the whole flight on these little things because whole flight's 2.5, 3 hours. So I'll just put up little snippets. On the next flight lesson, we're doing some multi-engine training with only one engine. So we're gonna learn how to fly a 2-engine airplane with only one engine. So it should be interesting. And then on that note, have a good one. Thanks for watching the Captain's Log.